Before we begin today's show, today we want to give a big shout out to
Buzz TV. Buzz TV brings you their own spin on Android devices like the Nvidia Shield and the Amazon Fire Sticks, taking software to the next level with their own app helping you stream anything, anywhere. Buzz TV listens to you, the customers, and consistently brings you the latest and greatest when it comes to hardware, software, customer service, and experience right out of the box.
And to find their products, guys, make sure you guys do go to buzztvglobal.com.
Don't forget to click the link in the description below to get yourself the latest Android device right from Buzz TV. With all that being said, let's start the show.
Welcome back to another Beyond the Streams video. Today we have a special guest, and we're going to be talking a lot of stuff. Next Level is on this hunt to try to get me on a different phone than what I've been using for a while. So we'll see how this conversation goes. How you doing, Next Level?
Hey, fantastic, a fantastic day. It's been amazing the conversations we're having. I'm pumped up for this week because we have a lot of good content coming.
Yeah, big time. And our guest today, zachtalkstech. How are you, man?
Good. Yourself?
Doing great. Warm in California, according to how the weather is in Canada.
Yeah, we're not full on winter yet, but it'd be interesting to see how some Californians would survive up here. So
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. What is your current temperature out there? And I'll translate it to Fahrenheit.
Current temperature, Celsius, Calgary, Alberta, minus 6 degrees Celsius. Minus 6 degrees Celsius. And today's high is going to be minus 8. I don't know how that works right now. Excuse me. Sorry. The current right now is minus 1. The low is going to hit minus 8. And the high today will be 1. So it's currently minus 1. The high will be 1, and the low will be minus 8. That's Celsius.
Minus 1 in I don't know if you want to call it American.
Fahrenheit. Let's call it Fahrenheit.
Because I think the United States is like the only ones using Fahrenheit.
Yeah, the whole world is converted. Come on, get on board here.
Seriously. So in Fahrenheit, that would translate to 30 degrees, 30.2. For your high, and then for your low it's going to be 21. So in layman's terms, that's freezing level for us here.
Yeah. I mean, I barely wear a hoodie in that kind of weather out here, so yeah. I mean, yeah.
I want to say where I'm currently at, our high, and you're going to be like, holy crap, that's crazy. Our high, and this is actually a cooler day. This is like a nice cool day for us. Is 73 Fahrenheit, which would be 22 Celsius.
That's a nice day. And anything above 25, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going downstairs to the basement. I need to find air conditioning.
Yeah.
That's me right there.
That's a cool day. That's we might wear a jacket outside. For our lows, which we're going to be in sweatpants, thermal underwear, beanies, hoodies.
I can't wait to hear this.
48 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 9 degrees Celsius.
I'll be in shorts and a t-shirt. Let's go. Let's have some fun, right?
Right. Yeah. So
I always have a good time whenever I come down to the United States, whenever I go to California or Las Vegas or Mexico, because you can always find the other Canadians. Because we're wearing next to nothing. We got the t-shirts on, and then you got the Americans going by in their parkas and everything, and it's always a trip. It's always fun. It's always fun to see that contrast. I always get a good giggle out of it. So
yeah, definitely. And me, it's I know before the show started, we were talking about like the weather, and you said something about Vancouver.
Yeah, so in Vancouver on the west coast of Canada, like in BC and whatnot, they get a lot of rain. They get it's like Seattle, constant. And my folks used to live on Vancouver Island, and they never get snow. And there was one winter, my folks moved from Calgary, so I'm in Calgary. They moved from Calgary out there, and they got like this much snow, like barely half an inch. And the whole city, Sydney, this is the town there, the city of Vancouver, Sydney, completely shut down. And my dad's out running errands, and everything's shut down. He's clearing walks and everything. Inside, it's like minus 10 Celsius. Oh my gosh. And their cars are slipping around, and my dad's just in a far by. Yeah, whatever, right? And then, we could all tell who the mountain guy is, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So,
I I did go to Vancouver 2 years ago.
mhm.
2 years ago, and it was
Beautiful
in
city.
February.
Yeah.
And I'm, I went to Seattle. It was raining,
Mhm.
of course,
Mhm.
and drove up to Vancouver. Went to go see the Capilano Bridge, I think it's called.
Mhm.
And then went around the city, and there was like some clock that was powered by steam, and it was just like it was fun. It was fun. But I did see several people there in like t-shirts. Um, some were, or most were wearing pants, but
Yeah.
there was definitely a little bit of snow. It wasn't
Yeah.
much. There was some snow. Um, and I'm over here like I have double beanies. I got I got like sweatpants underneath my jeans.
So you guys call it a beanie.
I was
Up
gonna
here
say
in
the same
Canada,
thing.
we call it a toque.
Toque.
We
A
call it
toque?
right next level. We call it
Yep.
a toque, right, man?
Yep.
That's the proper name, all right? And I've gotten into this argument before with my other American friends, El Jefe Reviews and Viper and whatnot. We call it a toque, and I'm glad that Next Level can confirm that information. I think it's funny that you guys call it a beanie.
Yeah.
I think maybe toque sounds too French, and they don't want to.
I never thought about it that way, but yeah, maybe.
Maybe, huh?
Maybe.
Well, I wanted you to, if you can,
Mm.
introduce yourself, so that way the listeners, we're already ranting already about some stuff here, but
Sure.
if you could introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do, what are you currently doing, stuff about your YouTube channel, maybe a little history lesson of who Zach is.
Whew, okay, how do I condense this? Well, my name is Zach. The channel is called zachtalkstech. It's Zach Talks Tech across all social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Do people still Facebook? TikTok. I've been experimenting over there. But my main outlets are YouTube and Twitter. I focus on tech reviews with an everyday approach. I don't try to use a lot of lingo, and I try to talk to you normally. So rather than telling you it has an 865 plus processor and 12 gigabytes RAM, I'm going to tell you it takes really good pictures and it's fast, like any other normal person would talk. Okay, but I still talk like a nerd here and there when I have to. My approach has always been my mother should be able to watch my videos and enjoy them, and a tech guy should be able to watch my videos and enjoy them. So to get that balance has always been a little bit tricky. But I try to take more of a real world approach. I'm mostly focused on mobile devices and accessories, Samsung products, Apple products, Pixel, so Google products, and then a lot of accessories. My channel originally started as Zach Tech Reviews, and then I renamed it to Zach Talks Tech. And the reason the channel was called Zach Tech Reviews at the time, when I first launched it about 3-4 years ago, is it was an outlet for me to showcase and show products to my customer base. I used to work for a cell phone accessories distributor here in Canada. I used to take care of 2 very large provinces out west, took care of Alberta and Manitoba. If anybody wants to know what a province is, it's like a state, but it's a lot bigger, okay? And I can't always get out to Winnipeg. I can't always get out to Grand Prairie. I can't always get out to Edmonton because these are long drives and they're boring drives. So I would take videos. I would find videos on the internet from classic reviewers such as Jeff Springer, Flossie Carter, MKBHD, things like that, of accessories, of things I was selling, brands I was representing through the distributor. I would send these out to my customer base. But over time, the videos got longer. Those creators may have stopped using, reviewing that kind of technology or whatnot, accessories. So I took it upon myself. I grabbed my Pixel, my first generation Pixel, a little mini tripod, and I started recording. My very first video on my channel is of a ballistic case recorded with my Pixel first generation. It's a top-down, classic top-down shot, me trying to get through it all in one take. no cuts. It's terrible. But we all start somewhere. And that's what I started doing. And then things started just taking off, and brands started sending me things, and I started reaching out to brands, and here we are now. So now I'm working more directly with some bigger brands. As of recent, Google has sent me some devices. Samsung has been sending me some devices. Apple will never send me anything because I'm a little blunt about them, just like I am with everybody else. And that's the other thing too as well. I also pride myself on being very unfiltered and direct to the point. There's no fluff, there's no passes here, kind of thing. So, I'm gonna tell it to you straight, and I care more about my relationship with my community and telling you how it is than protecting or making a brand happy. And I'm very clear about that with my moral integrity and my basically the rules for my channel. Letting how I got the product. Did I buy it? Was it sent to me? Is this a paid review? Which, by the way, I don't do paid reviews. I'll do ad spots. I'll do showcases, but you can't pay me for my review. But I'm very clear about all this kind of stuff. And I think that's one of the biggest problems in the tech industry and on YouTube in general. There's not enough clarity, and there's not enough transparency of relationships with brands and influencers, YouTubers, whatever you want to call yourself. And it's one of the things I've championed and talked a lot about. I've burned a lot of bridges, but at the end of the day, I have to ask, if you're not in this to give people the information 110%, then why are you in this? Right? At least be transparent about it. So that's my approach. It's long and winded. Here we are.
It's really interesting. We were talking a little bit before the show how the tech community is so large, and there's so many of us that create content. But at least speaking within my own community, Rohas, myself, other YouTubers that were kind of focusing on the niche when we first started our channels, we found that we were trying to create content for our local people to help them with their devices, their questions. We found it a lot easier that when they had a question to create a video and send it out to them, because eventually those questions became redundant. They were over and over and over again. It was typically the same question, and it was a lot easier for us to create a video and hand it over to those people. And YouTube was really, I guess, when we all started about, four-ish years ago, was used as a tool to help people. And I think it's very interesting as more we branch out into general tech and we start to talk to other creators, we hear that as a common thing. I think, if I was to talk to my son right now, I'd be like, why do you want to be a YouTuber? He'd probably be like, because I want views and I want money. But you know what I mean? A kid's perspective, it was really a tool for us. And I think that it is a great tool to continue to use to help people. And it's great. I've listened to a lot of your live shows, and you are definitely very passionate about connecting with people.
Thank you.
Right now you are on a 30 for 30.
Right now I'm on day 23 of 30 days of streaming in a row. So streaming every single day, and streams have been anywhere from 35 minutes to an hour and a half, on average about an hour.
And I think that speaks a lot about your character. You really do enjoy connecting with people on a personal level. And one of the best ways to do that is to do a live stream. What was one of the reasons why you decided to do that 30-day live stream?
To be perfectly honest, my friend Viper did it back in September, and I wanted to jump on that train with him when him and Tech Rant, Trent and Marshall, were doing it in September. But I had so much going on my end, I couldn't do it. So in addition to doing my streams, I'm still doing published content here and there, and I actually edit videos for 3 other creators. I can't name those names because they've asked not to name. They kind of want to keep that, I don't want to call it illusion, but they want to, they don't want people to know that other people edit their videos. And you wouldn't be, there's actually a lot of creators that do that. But yeah, currently on day 23, I've tried to bring a different topic every day, or a specific information I'll be talking about. I don't want to just turn on the camera and start talking. Anybody can do that. Okay, anybody can pretty much do that. It definitely takes a personality to be on screen. As well as along with doing that, I've been using backing tracks, music in the background, clips to go between scenes and things like that I'm talking about, using multiple cameras. So I've been trying to bring a different element to the live streaming I'm doing. And I definitely feed, like you said, off of that live stream experience, the people, the comments and whatnot. So live streaming definitely feels a lot more personal, like you said, than say, you know, doing 20 takes and then cutting up in Final Cut and everything like that and then publishing it, right? Yeah, you still have your comment section and whatnot, and you still have the interaction maybe on Twitter, depending on where you publish. But live streaming, like it's you gotta know what you're talking about. You gotta have your notes in order and whatnot. So, there's a process to it, right?
Yeah. Now, how long have you been doing YouTube, and what got you into doing cell phones?
So if you look at the About section of my channel, I created the channel September 8th, 2016, but I didn't actually publish my first video till January of 2017. So we'll say 3 years, coming up on 4 years. And like I said before, the channel was originally made as a tool to send out unboxings or demos of products, okay? So the latest case for this phone, the latest power adapter, the latest cable or whatnot. And then things just kind of, when you start doing stuff like this and you start getting a bit of an audience, brands start sending you stuff. Now, for me, it's been quite unique because I represented 40 different brands at this distributor, about 50,000 different SKUs. So I already have, and I still have, relationships with brands like Otterbox, Incipio, Nomad. I could go on and on and on. Many of the brands that you see on my channel are brands I used to sell as a salesperson, as an account manager for this company. So I kept those relationships when I went, when I basically left, and I started doing this kind of full time. So that's definitely been a big help. I've had that nice crossover. At the same time, I've been introduced to other brands by those brands. And then, of course, going to things like CES in Las Vegas, which unfortunately won't be happening in a couple months here, definitely helps as well to make those contacts and whatnot. So the channel definitely started as like a tutorial demo channel, and then it turned into more reviews and whatnot. But it definitely started as a kind of like a showcase. Here's the latest this, here's how it works.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely looked at your, I always like to scroll all the way down. I typically skip the About section just because, like you said, sometimes when you create your channel, that doesn't mean you post your first video.
Yeah.
So when you were first, because I noticed it took you, and I think the next level and we talk about this too several times. How long did it take for you to say, I want to show my face and not just the product,
When did I transition that? I would say a year and a half, 2 years in. I'd have to look back when it was. I know approximately when it was. I'd really have to look back and whatnot. If we really, I would say about a year and a half, 2 years ago, about 2 years into the channel's life, basically. I stopped doing the whole, classic top down, here's my hands kind of thing, right? Because when you get on that personal level, showing your face and whatnot, making the eye contact, you're going to get a different type of viewer and a different type of person that's watching. I'm scrolling back through here, and it looks about 2 years ago, right around the time where I did a review of the in-display. No, that's it. No, maybe. See, now I'm wondering about this. Yeah, when I go back and I look at when I did the review of the OnePlus 5T, I believe that's when I started showing my face. And it's not that I didn't want to show my face. Like, I have no problem being in front of people. I do presentations, marketing, and this and that all the time. Like, that's my world. That's where I come from. It's just that I was emulating what I see all the time, right? And which I think a lot of tech reviewers, I think a lot of people in general on YouTube, they see their favorite creator, they see what they like, and they try to emulate that. We see a lot of that in tech. For example, the slow panning shot of a product, the plant in the background, right? Like, look at me, look. All sorts of fake plants back here, okay?
Yeah.
So, right? So, but that's part of the process as well, is that do you really want to be like everybody else. Yes, there are certain things you should or should not do that work for audiences. But over time, just like myself, you're going to figure out your own flow and the way you like to do things and your own personality. And that's how you make yourself unique within a niche. And that's how you're going to gain an audience.
Yeah. I know with myself, I didn't want to show my face only because it was easier to record and edit um, my screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing a lot of, I don't know if you ever heard of the app called Cody.
Not familiar with it, no.
No, so it's just it's a third party app that does streaming. You can get like free movies and TV shows, and there's ways of adding. They're called add-ons. So you could do it's pretty much an app within an app,
Okay.
and you could put all these different apps in there, and you could have all these different backups. And um, what I used to do is I'm like, man, I had my camera already. I had a mic, I had my computer, and I'm just like, let me just turn on the computer. I'll open up the program,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll just start talking. So that's pretty much how I started doing it. And some people were kind of like, "How come you don't show your face?" I'm like, "For what?" For me, it didn't make sense. It was just like, I'm just giving you guys a tutorial. I don't need you
Mm-hmm.
guys to be looking at me. Just look at what I'm trying to show you. But within time, I had several people say like, "Oh, are you gonna wait till you hit 100,000? When are you gonna actually do it?" And
Mm-hmm.
then it was just kind of like random. I'm like, you know what? Whatever.
Yeah.
On. I just turned the camera on,
And do
and
you enjoy it better? Do you enjoy it more with like did you see was the response overall positive or like what was
yeah, it was. I
Mhm.
got a really good response. I had a lot of people say, so this happened twofold. Um, a lot of the guys were just like, dude, finally I could relate.
Yeah.
There's a person, there's a personality, there's this, there's that,
Mm-hmm.
on the female side, I had a few of them that were just like, "Oh my gosh, you look so young and so cute." And so I'm just
There you
like,
go. There you
"No,
go.
I'm like, what the hell's going on here?" And then
Yeah.
so then there's this running joke that hasn't stopped. They'll call me Captain Dimples or Mr. Dimples
And
or
you know what? Those kind of things are good to have. Those kind of like little inside because then people wonder about that and people don't think about this, but little things like that help with building camaraderie and community and that closeness and
Mhm.
that loyalty, right? So, and you can't fake stuff like that. You just have to let it go and and let people run with it
Yeah.
and whatnot. So, I'm going to give you an example. For example, I think you guys are familiar with Michael Fisher, Mr. Mobile, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
he
I am.
recently hit 1 million subscribers. Now, if you look at his previous content, going back probably about a year or more, he never spoke to the camera like how we are right now. It was all voiceover. So he would shoot B-roll, just nothing but B-roll. Him using a device, the device, this and that. Making maybe looks at the camera, this and that. But he would never talk to the camera. It was always B-roll because he would shoot a ton of B-roll and then get in his booth, get in front of his microphone, and record over because it was the easiest thing to do. Ever since he switched over to talking and having a boom mic and this and that and one-on-one kind of thing, he's gained all sorts of different subscribers and whatnot. He still does the traditional VO and everything like that.
Mhm.
But I mean, it took him to get to close to 1 million. I think it was around 850,000 when he started doing that, or maybe 900,000. But I mean, it's never too late to try different things, right? And uh, you should definitely get uncomfortable. If I could give any piece of advice for anybody that wants to get into this, whether you're doing tech reviews or beauty reviews or reviewing cars or whatever, if you're on camera and whatnot, do things that make you uncomfortable. Try different things. Make mistakes because it's the only way you're going to be able to grow. If you stay within your lane and what you're used to and just doing the same thing as everybody else, you're going to grow, but it's going to be slow. And you're going to get bored and everything like that. So get uncomfortable, right? So I used to do standing, this and that. Now, recently, I'm enjoying doing this with the microphone, everything like that. I got this beautiful microphone. I love it. By the way, thank you, Rode. They sent this out to me, and everything like that. But I might get more into doing more published content, and then once I'm done these 30 days and whatnot. So I'm experimenting, doing different things, and that goes back to why I've been doing the last 30 days. Is just as a challenge to myself to see what I could do and to see how the channel and people would react. So,
It's interesting. Speaking about, be comfortable with making mistakes,
mhm.
and don't be afraid of change, and get out of your comfort zone and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Would you say that your niche has always been cell phones, or did you have like another niche in mind, or is it just because it transitioned from, a previous work environment? That's why you've kind of stuck around
The
cell
niche,
phones?
yeah, my niche started out as accessories, like cases and cables and Bluetooth speakers and whatnot, and then um, it just turned into cell phones. One day I just went out and got the. One day I went and ordered the OnePlus 5, I think it was, or OnePlus 5T. I can't remember which one it was. And then I ordered another phone, and then I bought another phone, and then the first in-display fingerprint sensor device came on the market, and I managed to import one from China. I don't know how. I can't remember how I found the guy. I think I found him on eBay, and I got that video out, and it's that video is around 60,000 or 70,000 views. It's crazy. It took off. I actually got my video out before Marquez, and that's a lot of the game as well too. A lot of this game on tech whatnot is about being first and whatnot. If you can't be first in tech, then do it the best. So if you can't be one of the first people that's doing an unboxing video of the latest M1 Mac, for example, which is the latest thing right now, when you get a hold of one, do something different with it, right? Show something that people haven't done, maybe a different perspective, a different way of presenting, whatnot. But yeah, the channel, I mean, I don't know if I always wanted to get into cell phones, but it just made the most sense. I sold cell phone accessories. I was always updating my cell phone. It just went to that way, and it's something I'm interested in. Now, if you ask me about about Macs and computers and whatnot, my my knowledge and whatnot is going to be very limited, and I've admitted that as well. I can still react and talk about it on my channel, but I've brought on smarter people to talk about that with me. So, in terms of focus, the channel is, definitely accessories, cell phone accessories, and cell phones themselves. But again, Pixel, Samsung, Apple, kind of your top three, right? So.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Rojas and myself and other people kind of in our own niche have kind of had to pivot or change the content that we've been putting out
Mm-hmm.
due to, certain rules or what YouTube likes or doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick another niche, what do you think it would be
Like within tech or just completely different?
in general?
Lightsaber reviews. So if you
Are those
look
all
at,
lightsabers behind you?
yeah, these are, let me just get my mic over here. These are, okay, so if you look back on my channel, I actually have these up on my channel, reviews of these. These are combat ready. They call them combat ready Ultra Sabers. The company's called Ultra Sabers. They make lightsabers, okay? These are as strong as kendo sticks, okay?
Wow.
I keep one of these beside my bed in case someone decides to come into my home at night. You do not want to get hit by one of these. You can go full tilt with these. They, excuse me, they got the flash on clash. They change different colors. They make the sounds. Obviously, I've got that turned off right now. Okay, I've got about 17 of these.
Wow.
So this is just a small collection. These are the ones I can plug directly in without batteries and give a cool background. I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to have it on display. Up above here, you can see the different Star Wars posters and whatnot. This over here, you can't see it right there. That's a signed picture from James Earl Jones and Dave Prowse, who played the body of Darth Vader's episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Wow.
So yeah, I've almost started a channel dedicated to doing lightsaber reviews. Now, Ultra Sabers is not the only company. There are definitely other companies out there like Saber Forge and Vader's Vault and whatnot. So you can see I know this stuff, right? So that would be the other direction I would go. If you look at some of my lightsaber reviews on the channel, which obviously is completely unrelated to tech, there's lots of views and lots of interest. It's definitely a very niche thing. So if I wasn't doing tech, I would do this, and I definitely have the back catalog of product to do that. I'm just more interested in tech and how cell phones and how this niche is constantly changing like every few months. right?
I
Now
would love.
I have to ask real quick.
Mm,
Like I did, like I said earlier, I did scroll all the way down and
mm-hmm,
started just slowly coming up, and I did see the lightsabers. I'm like, that's cool.
mm-hmm,
But I do have to ask, if let's just say me,
mm-hmm,
I break into your house, and you pull out that lightsaber,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, okay, this guy's about to get a beating because I have no idea who it is. I'm gonna kick his ass right now. Do you have the sound effects and
Oh yeah,
everything on that
oh yeah,
lightsaber? Yeah, all ready
oh
to
yeah,
go.
oh yeah. Do you remember Rogue One? Do you guys see Rogue One?
Yeah.
Remember that scene at the end with Darth Vader, and it's like all smoky and it's, all you see is the lightsaber, and you see like the silhouette of him.
Mhm.
That's me without clothes on. Okay, so yeah, be afraid. Okay, be afraid.
I would love to see the intruder's face as you pull out a lightsaber. Be like, Is
I
that
mean, what would
is that
you
a
do, right?
lightsaber?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better have something with you because I'm going to be going to town. But yeah, those are super fun. They're made of metal. They're not cheap, and they burn very brightly. In fact, I have to turn on. Like I'm in a basement. This is an old guest bedroom. I have to turn a fan on in here because it gets so warm
Wow.
from these right here, along with the hue lights, and of course I got the games and everything like that. So the room is this is partially set, but when I'm not doing this. This is a games room and everything like that, right? So it's a double function cave for Zach. So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
That is,
yeah. Go ahead next.
that's pretty cool. I mean, well, lightsabers, that's still kind of tech related.
Hmm.
Would you say that, personal interest wise, maybe you're very well versed in Star Wars in general? Like, could the channel be strictly like a Star Wars related channel instead of just lightsabers? Or
I don't have enough knowledge to talk enough about Star Wars, in my opinion, outside of like when movie releases and things like that are happening. So there's a really great Star Wars channel. The guy's actually out of Vancouver. It's called Star Wars Theory, and I think he's around 2 million subs. He might be about a million. And he does all sorts of stuff like what if this, what if that, this is what's coming, rumors and this and that. He's very grounded with that, with Lucas and with Lucasfilm and whatnot, so they know who he is. He actually did an episode, a fan video about Darth Vader and whatnot. He's working on episode 2 right now. It's really, really well done. And he's done some lightsaber stuff as well. I always picture myself maybe doing a channel like that. But outside of the movies, for example, when episodes 7, 8, and 9 came out, you had a ton of content. You could talk about this and, reaction, this and that, and, what the script should have been, this and that. Now that things have kind of cooled off, I don't know what I would really do. So if I were to start a Star Wars channel or lightsaber focused channel, I would definitely want to sit down and plan out at least the first 60 days of what content would look like. Not necessarily every single day, but if I'm going to do 2 videos or 3 videos a week, this is what it's going to be. And make sure I'm more ingrained with that community so I know what's coming up. So for example, when I look at my tech calendar, like I know what's coming up right now, right? Like I know in January, we should expect the next Galaxy devices, the S21 series. Samsung's apparently moved that up from March, April to January, which makes me wonder, has the schedule or the release dates for all the other Galaxy devices been moved up? How is OnePlus going to respond to that? Is Huawei going to get back into the American market? Is Apple going to release another SE device? You know what I mean? So I have an idea, and I can look at the past and whatnot and look at the calendars and go, okay, this is what should be coming up, and this is what we know is coming up. I would definitely have to do my research on this kind of stuff before I go forward with it. But like I said, I've got 17 of these things. So I guess that's 17 videos technically, right? So
you mean 17 different kinds?
yeah, 17 different types. Yeah, all different types of hilts. There's everything from like the ones that look like from the movies. Okay, let's be really clear. They are not allowed to make replicas. Okay, so there's like the replica toys that you see in the stores and whatnot. Then there's like the Black Series that come from actual Star Wars, from Lucas and from Disney, that are actual replicas. These have slight modifications on them, so they're not exactly the same. Otherwise, copyright, they're gonna get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
So for example, if you look at the video I did on the Graflex, which is the Luke Skywalker, Anakin, Rey lightsaber, if you will, it started as Anakin's. It looks exactly, except for where the power switch is. Like in the movies, it's a slide. On this, it's a push, right?
Mm.
So there's little differences here and there. So there's things like that I could show. I get a lot of comments. I still get a lot of comments from people every single day. That's not a replica. This and that. And just like, I never said it was a replica. It's an Ultra Saber. So, yeah, that's. I mean, that started as a hobby and whatnot, and then when I started setting up things here in the studio and everything like that, and started making this into a studio, I was like, I'm going to display these. And so those are permanently fixtured on the wall. There's little stands for them. And yeah, that's
cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So it sounds to me that you are very organized with what you want to do.
Can you tell my wife that? I'm not organized at all. Sorry, go on.
So, well, you were saying about January, you kind of already want to start talking about certain things and start planning ahead. To me, that's being organized. I don't know what you do when it comes to preparation of your channel. The way I do it is I have a folder. That folder will be called that month that I'm currently working in. So, like, I already have like December. I got January already there. And what I'll do is I post a video every other day, odd numbers starting on the 1st. So every other day I'm posting a video. I'll let's just say for December, I have my folder for December, and then I start making subfolders in there 1, 3, 5, 7, 11. Or 9, 11. I just keep going all the way to the end of the month. And then once I have them all organized, then I start saying like, okay, the first video of the month, I know for sure it's going to be like my Amazon best tech deals of the month. So that's there. The 15th, which is the middle of the month, I always say, hey, these are my 3 best streaming apps I'm recommending for the month. And from there, I always look at in between the 1st and the 15th. I'm like, I always want like some kind of VPN, some kind of plugin right here because people constantly ask about it. And I'm like, well, let me do some kind of tutorial of it. And then between the 15th and the 29th, I usually look at it and then I say, okay, cool. Where can I do something where if I get a product that I really, really like, I'll try to put like a really big, this is what is out now, And then from there, I just start filling in the blanks.
Yeah.
So I kind of do that with my channel. This month was the first month where I kind of broke that a little bit. I got like, I don't know if you can see the background here, but I get so much stuff and
you should see my floors here and stuff like that. So like there's a ton of stuff here. It's organized chaos, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand. Yeah.
So typically Next Level knows how like what happens in the background. But typically when something comes in, because of this whole freaking pandemic thing that's going on, I grab it, take it to the garage, and I'll leave it there for a day. Once it's there, then I'll open it the next day. I'll wipe it all down, and then I'll either it depends if I have room up here or not. Like this is the organized side that you see, but like you said, I got like if it's here right next to me on the floor, that's stuff that I need to start recording like now. That's up next. If I start putting there in the corner, that's me staging it for it to come up over here closer to me, and that's not including anything that's still downstairs in the garage. So I have like a process, and then once I'm done, it goes up to the shelf back there, of stuff that I really like and I'm hanging on to, and I'm probably gonna do another review of it later. Like, hey, I've been playing this for now a month. This is what I think my further reactions or review is. And I also have like a membership thing on the channel, so I actually have a closet across the room here, and any stuff that I'm just like, cool, I'm gonna save these for the members. That closet's almost full of product that I'm just gonna be giving away to those subscribers.
That's awesome.
So I have like this whole rotation that happens here. But with you, I wonder, like, I'm curious, like, do you have a process that you go through, or do you have or an organization chart or a calendar or something that you do to say, hey, this is how I'm going to have my videos come out,
I have a calendar, and I have a pad of paper and a pen. Okay. I typically only plan out 2 weeks in advance because things can happen. Um, Things can happen within the industry that maybe I want to talk about. A new accessory might drop, and so I need to be quick on that. In the past, I don't have like staging. Like I guess I do kind of like I'll bring something in. I've got a shelf here and I'll put it on, and then I've got an unboxing desk where I might where I might film some top down stuff, but then also cut to face kind of thing. For the live streams here, I've been using a separate camera so I can switch back and forth, and doing the live unboxings here. But I don't. You're definitely more organized than I am, and that's probably one of my biggest faults is when it comes to content strategy. I don't want to say I've been all over the place, but um, I've definitely wandered outside the lines a little bit. Like if you picture a highway and you got to stay and you can't be wandering this way and you can't be going necessarily onto the shoulder. Sometimes I do. Okay. Luckily I haven't hit anything yet. So, but I just try to keep more current and whatnot. So for example, the Note 20 Ultra here is still a very popular device. The phone's only been out for a couple of months now. Yes, I am late. I'm definitely late to the game when it comes to unboxings or first impressions or whatnot. Which is why, if you look at my my content in the last week here, the last 10 days with this device, I've been doing something a little bit different. Like I talked for a whole hour just about this camera module. Like you don't put this kind of camera module on this kind of phone, this thick boy here, unless you want to make a statement. And this thing better make a statement with what it does. And I'm happy to say that it does. It does what it needs to do. Boom, there you go. What do you got? What do you got there, Next Level?
This is the S20 Plus.
There you go. So you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Right? Like you want it, like this looks like a weapon, right? Right? Like should I have a license for this, right? So like, and you know, you compare that to some other devices, whatnot. So I focused a whole stream about that because I didn't think enough people were talking about that, and I'm seriously impressed what it does with that. I spent a whole. I did a stream. What day was this? 3 days ago, and it was just like I just called it 168 plus hours with the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. 168 plus hours that's a week. Okay, so you know I kind of got the attention of some people. Like, what is he talking about, right? And I talked about my experiences for the week with that, and the up and down with the battery, and this and that, and the performance and whatnot. So I typically plan out about a couple weeks, but I'm very flexible with that, and I've always been like that when it comes to sales and marketing and whatnot. It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. Some people really like to, you know, on the first I'm going to do this, on the fourth I'm going to do, you know, kind of like what you're doing, Rohas, right? So for myself, I enjoy organized chaos. I enjoy being on my tip of my toes. Does my content suffer for it? Maybe. But I know that I'm getting the viewership and the loyalty back that I'm looking for. As an example, let me just grab it here. My friends at Nomad sent me out their iPad Pro rugged case here. Now I have a 2018, but this fits both the 2018 and the 2020. Okay, and they also sent me out their brand new sports strap for the Apple Watch. Okay, because I've been doing more health content and whatnot. On a personal level, whatnot, which is really important to myself because I've been trying to get in better health and whatnot. I've had some challenges in the last year and a half and whatnot that I can relate to with most people. So, but with that, I'm going to be unboxing and kind of giving my first impressions of this stuff with the Nomad rep on my live stream. And I'm hoping that happens later on this week. We haven't nailed down the exact time, but I have my rep there, and I just said, "Hey, Chuck, you want to come on? Let's talk about this kind of stuff. Let's talk about the history of you guys working with me when I was with the distributor and where I am now, our time at CES, what's coming down the road with Nomad." So I thought it'd be kind of cool to have people see and talk to the actual Nomad rep. I'd like to think that Nomad has a really good name within the tech industry, and I think they do because of their grassroots and whatnot. So whereas most people might take the product and just do the review, unboxing, first impressions, smell test, whatever, I want to bring the brand on. I want to talk to the brand. I want to bring them on and get that feedback from people, whatnot. And they're not afraid to do that, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because the next level was talking about the whole pivoting and
Mm-hmm.
so with you going, like that sing in your lane, kind of
Hmm.
going back and forth. With mine, I had to do the whole um oh man, what was it? I was doing the whole Cody stuff,
Hmm.
and I got to 100,000 subs just doing that by itself. And then
Nice.
YouTube doesn't like the Cody stuff. Um, there's a lot of gray area on that stuff.
Hmm.
And then in some countries it could be illegal. Some
Mm.
countries they don't really care, so it's legal.
Yeah.
Uh, so there's a lot of gray area in that,
Yeah.
So with my channel, I started saying like, well, let's get away from Kodi a little bit. Let's start talking about third party apps, which is still in that gray area still,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was like, no, I remember I got my first um YouTube strike, and it was I forget what it was on, but it was something that didn't even make sense.
Was it a
Uh,
copyright or a claim, or was it a strike or a claim?
it was a strike.
Strike.
Yeah. So it was like the strike. It put me on timeout.
Wow. Did you use somebody else's content or something, or?
Mm-mm. It was my own content. I think I was like talking about how to do like like settings in the Kodi app.
Hmm.
And it was like to help with like buffering issues like that. And they gave me on strike on, I don't even know what it was. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like,
Hmm.
so I fought it, I won.
Good.
And after that, I got another strike on something similar. And I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Uh, so they were, and yeah, sometimes you have to, if it sticks, you have to wait like 3 months before it falls off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that happened to me a couple times. And I was
Jeez.
like, I got to watch, I got to start changing my stuff, because whatever it is with Kodi, like I could say, hey, here, this is how, like, the Kodi app itself is legal and free. Like, you can find it on Xbox.
Okay.
But it's the stuff that people go in there where they connect it to, where it now starts becoming a little gray.
Hmm.
And what I did was I was just I was saying, hey, this is how you could just do some of the settings, this and that. And I finally gave up. I'm like, you know what? I'm just
It
gonna do something.
sounds very familiar to, like, I know a couple creators that used to do stuff like jailbreaking on their iPhones,
Hmm.
and I know of channels, I know guys that had jailbreak stuff, um, on their channel, and Apple struck it down. Like I know one guy that came close to losing his channels. He had to unlist and delete all those videos. Just be careful. But
Yeah.
that's how he built up his whole channel. It was on jailbreaking. So he had to completely niche and change over. I think at the end of the day, we have to remember this. YouTube is a terrific platform to get your message out there. It's owned by Google. You guys know that. It is the video search. It's Google's video search, right? So you have that at your disposal. You can upload for free, get this message out to people. Transcodes, this and that, closed caption, all that stuff. That's all for you for free.
Hmm.
But you're also in their playground. You've got to play by their rules. And if they have brand deals or agreements with brands, you've got to ultimately be careful about what you say or do. One of my favorite things, I always get a giggle about this, is when people say that, YouTube doesn't allow free speech or this and that. You can't talk about. Well, no, you can't. It is a private platform, and it's their rules. The same rules apply for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Okay, you can have free speech. You can't have it on private platforms. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the same thing right now with YouTube coming out with some new rules about monetization. Apparently, they're going to start monetization and putting ads on channels that are not in the YouTube partner program. And I've seen a lot of people complain about that are not part of the partner program. So first of all, I would say to them, hurry up and get in the partner program. And two, I'm actually really surprised that YouTube has never put ads on non-partner program members. You would think they would have ads across the thing unless you're paying for it. And again, this goes back to what I said before. You have access to uploading, getting your video out there, SEO, this, you have all this. If you don't like it, go make your own platform. Good luck.
Yep.
Right? So, and that's not to be mean. These are just the facts. And you can whine and scream and everything like that. You know what? And those are the people that don't make good content, that will never make good content, that stay in their lane and don't get uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So, yeah, a little frank talk there for myself. So, yeah.
No, I agree, and I had to change a lot of my stuff because, yeah, at the end of the day, sure, we're gonna get pissed off because they gave us a strike, and
Mhm.
but one of the things too when you sign up to their partnership is they say,
Mhm.
hey, whatever they deem necessary, they could take it down. They could say like, nope,
Yep.
we don't like it. And if you say,
Yep.
but why, they don't have to give
Sure.
you an answer.
Yep.
It'll be nice so that way us as content creators, because at the end of the day, people who are here on YouTube and they're monetized, we're trying to make money and YouTube's
Mhm.
trying to make money.
Yeah, and let's be really clear. The parameters to get into the YouTube Partner Program used to be a lot harder. Like now it's easy. Really, it is easy. 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours within 12 months, which is really quite easy to do if you're bringing out the right type of content. At the end of the day, yeah, like you said, Rohas, they can take down your stuff for any reason. They do give you plenty of chances. However, and many tech educators, YouTube educators. I'm not going to call them gurus. I hate that name. Tech educators will tell you this. YouTube still has a really big problem with communicating
Mhm.
and making things clear for people. Right?
Yep.
They'll use lingo and whatnot, and people have to like decipher this and this, and then you have to go watch a Roberto Blake or Nick Nimmin video and find out what's going on. Which, by the way, you should be watching those guys. Good friends of mine, and they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
To get that information. And I'm glad that I've learned from these guys and I've taken some of their courses here and there and things like that. And I'm glad that I know the ins and outs and everything like that. I have personal relationships with these guys and whatnot, so I can I understand this kind of stuff, what's going on. But again, it's their playground and whatnot. So when you get a strike, like you said, or a claim, like I'll give you an example. 2 years ago, if you got a copyright claim, now what that means is this: if I end up using, I'm just going to bring it up here because I can't think of the group right now. If I use the song "Counting Stars" by One Republic in the background of my video, that is going to get a copyright claim. Okay, in the past, when people got these emails, they would think it was a strike, right? Nobody knew what the difference between a claim and a strike was. Now, if you go to it when you get it on your email, they're very clear with you. This is not a strike. Your content will remain. The claimant will be receiving the monetization. A year and a half, 2 years ago, that information was not there. It was just like, and you're just like freaking out,
Yeah.
right? Right.
Mhm.
So nothing has changed, but fortunately, Google and YouTube have improve their communication. But there's still a lot of barriers right now. Right now, if I have a problem with a video or whatnot, or something happens with a video, the only way I can really get in touch with someone at YouTube and get things rolling and get things fixed is if I go on Twitter and complain. And I hate that. I have filled out forums and this. I try to keep things, I don't want to go out there and air this and that. But hey, I have to tag at YouTube and get a bunch of likes and retweets from people to get the attention. And I hate that. So I hope that they fix on that. It's getting better, but it still needs a lot of improvement. It's so ironic for a company that deals with communication.
Yeah,
So
for real. Like YouTube is one of the largest social media platforms in the world, but the best way to communicate with them is on Twitter, which they don't own.
it's yeah, right, right. What? Yeah, yeah. It's just weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we're at towards the end of the show. That man, we talked about a lot of good stuff here today. So I hope people took some notes and yeah, learned a couple things. We always ask the guest if there is anything that you want to say, anything that you want to promote, shout yourself out, where they can find you, anything like that. Feel free to take the platform.
Okay, so again, you can find me on YouTube, zachtalkstech, across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's all the same, Zach Talks Tech. And again, that's ZAK, or as we call it here, ZAK. Okay, Talks Tech. So go ahead and find me there. Follow me. I'm very responsive to messages and whatnot and interaction. So I'm not. You can reach out to me if you want to. If you need to get in touch with me for business reasons, business at zachtalks.tech. And I'll say this about small creators, about people like ourselves and whatnot. If you're a viewer, if you're someone in the community, whatnot, if you're in tech or whatever it is, start looking at smaller creators, micro influencers, what do you want to call themselves? Because yes, the big dogs out there are doing great things. They're doing awesome things. They do it very well. But there's a whole bunch of us that are also doing things differently and bringing different perspectives and maybe talking a little more frank, a little more transparent with you. So always be kind of questioning that kind of stuff and getting different views and whatnot before you make a purchase decision. And that's my goal, is to hopefully bring a different perspective, a different look at things, be a little more transparent with my brand deals and my brand experiences and my brand relationships, so that you as a consumer, as a viewer, can decide if this is the right choice for myself or my family.
You know, it's been an awesome conversation. We definitely learned a lot about, each other, about you, about your experiences. And I think that we learned a lot in general about some ways to connect or organize ourselves when we're making excursions like CES and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. I know for sure I have. It's given me a good perspective for when I'm ready to and I'm going to do my first CES, what it's kind of going to look like in my head. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one that's generally organized. I tend to fall into the organized chaos, like we talked about earlier, and
Yep.
I enjoy it there. It's kind of messy, but I like my organized chaos. So, on behalf of Beyond the Streams, on Rojas and myself, I really do thank you for taking the time out and sharing those experiences with us. I'm
I
always
appreciate you guys
excited.
having me on, and when and if you get down there, don't be a stranger. Like, definitely let me know, and
Yeah, for sure.
because I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to meet up with people at
For sure.
CES. I will gladly give up a meeting or this and that to go meet
That's
with
cool.
the people in our community and everything like that.
That's cool. For sure. For sure. You know, I hope that we're going to do another podcast in the future. I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of on a mission. Rojas has only used Samsung phones,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like OnePlus.
Mm.
There's a lot of other brands out there that are killing it. They're doing things just like creators, a little bit differently,
Yep.
and I really think he needs to start experiencing that. So maybe we'll do another podcast in the future about how to convert Rojas to another phone besides Samsung. But
Sure.
I really enjoyed it. So thanks a lot. I really do appreciate you taking the time with us today for sure.
Hey, I appreciate being on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I got the Note 20, by the way.
Oh
Or the Note,
yeah.
I'm sorry, the Note 10, not the 20, the Note
Oh, you got the
10.
10? Okay, so yeah, I have the Note 10 Plus from last year as well. So
Yeah, Note 10.
yeah.
I love that phone. It's I don't know. For me, I like
It's hard. It's hard for me to switch. I mean, there's some nice upgrades in this year's in the Ultra and whatnot. It's going to be a shame that I have to send this back. I've already told my Samsung rep, no, but she said you have to. So we'll see. We'll see. We're still talking.
yeah. So once again, anybody out there that's listening, or if you're even watching the video on YouTube, make sure you guys do leave us a review, leave us a comment, leave us something so that way we know you're there and you did hear this interview. Anything that you guys need with Zach Talks Tech, his information is going to be in the description below. Make sure you guys do check it out. We'll have his channel, we'll have his information, how you guys can reach out to him. Make sure you guys do subscribe to him and follow him, so that way you guys can learn some new and different stuff from another content creator. But yeah, once again, just want to say thank you for being here. It was a very good, and it was a fun conversation. I really did enjoy it. So with all that being said, the last thing we say here is you guys take care, and you take care of each other.
And stay humble and be patient. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace out.